Elon Musk did not go to the office. He did not go to the factory. He did not go anywhere a man with too much to do is expected to go. He went to his mother's kitchen. It was a small kitchen on a quiet street in New York City. And the strange thing about it, the thing almost no one knew, was that his mother had kept it the way it had been 40 years before. The wood paneling on the lower walls, the amber pendant lamp hanging over the small round table, the little floral curtains above the sink, the checkered linoleum floor, the chrome trim along the formica counter, the slow percolator coffee pot, the wall clock that had ticked since he was a boy in Pretoria. She had carried that kitchen in her mind through 3 countries and 40 years. She had quietly recreated it wherever she went, because it was the only piece of the early years she had been able to keep. The kitchen where she had fed 3 small children on very little. The kitchen where she had been afraid. The kitchen where she had also been brave. And Elon, the grown man, the billionaire, the founder, the name on 1,000 headlines, walked into that kitchen and sat down at the small round table like a 6-year-old boy. The radio was on very softly. Maye was at the stove, stirring something with a wooden spoon. She did not turn around. "Sit down, Elon." He sat. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The kitchen smelled like onions cooking. The light through the small curtained window was thick and golden. The little wall clock ticked. Outside, the city moved on without knowing this small room existed. Finally, Maye spoke without turning around. "Tell me what you came to tell me." Elon smiled very softly. She had always done that. She had always known. He looked down at his hands. "Mom," he said, "I want to tell you about meals." She kept stirring. "Meals?" "Yes, Mom, meals. There are 9 of them. 9 meals I want to share. With the woman I have not yet met." Now she turned around. She wiped her hands on her apron and crossed the small kitchen and sat down across from him at the round table. She folded her hands in front of her. She did not say anything. She waited. "I have been thinking about her, Mom," he said quietly. "I do not know her name. I do not know her face. I do not know where she is, or if she even knows I'm thinking about her. But I have been thinking about her. About what we would eat together. About what the kitchen would smell like on the small, ordinary days I have not allowed myself to imagine for a long time." Maye's eyes softened. It was the small, slow smile of a mother who had waited many years to hear her son speak this way. "Tell me, Elon. Tell me the 9 meals." He took a long breath. "The first one," he said, "is breakfast on a morning when she has stayed." He paused. "I do not mean a fancy breakfast, Mom. I do not mean a hotel. I do not mean a tray with flowers. I mean a Tuesday, a small, ordinary Tuesday. The light through the curtains, the smell of bread in the toaster, eggs on a plate, coffee that is too strong because I made it. And her, Mom. Her in one of my old shirts, sitting across from me at a small kitchen table with her hair undone, not because she is trying to look beautiful, but because she has nothing to prove. That is the breakfast I want, Mom. The one where neither of us has to be impressive. The one where I do not check my phone for the first hour of the morning. The one where I look up from my coffee and she is just there. And nothing important has to be said." Maye nodded slowly. "The second meal," he said, "is the bad day dinner." He looked down at his hands. "You know what I mean, Mom. There is a kind of day that breaks a person, a meeting that went wrong, a loss, a grief, a call from a doctor, a line of bad news that does not stop coming. And on that night, Mom, the meal is small. The meal does not matter. What matters is that she sits down with me without making me explain. She sets a plate in front of me and she does not ask. She does not push. The way you used to feed me when something had happened at school and I did not know how to say it. The bad day dinner is the meal that says, "You do not have to find words tonight, Elon. Eat, sleep. Tomorrow we will talk." He stopped. "That is a kind of love I have not had at a dinner table, Mom. Not really. Not in 20 years. May reached across the small table and put her hand on his wrist. "The third meal," he said, "is a Sunday lunch with both of our mothers at the same table." He looked at her. "Yours, Mom, and hers, whoever she is. Both of them in one room. Both of them with white hair, both of them with the patience that comes from having raised people who did not always deserve it. I have never had that meal. Not properly. I want a Sunday lunch where both of our mothers can sit at the same table and laugh at the same stories. Where they have learned to love each other. Where they have decided, separately and together, that they are on the same side. That is the meal that tells me a marriage is real. That meal is the proof." "The fourth meal," he said, "is the soup she makes when I am sick." He paused. "I have not been taken care of in a very long time, Mom. I am the one everyone calls. I am the one who decides. I am the one who fixes. And I have learned not to expect to be carried ever by anyone. But there is a kind of love that quietly takes a man apart and puts him back together when his body is too tired to do it himself. The hand on the forehead, the blanket pulled up, the bowl of soup on the bedside table that does not require a thank you, the closed door so I can sleep, the soft footstep that says, 'She is still here, but she will not disturb me.' That is the meal I want, Mom. The meal I do not have to ask for. The meal that just appears." May nodded. She had made that meal 1,000 times. For 3 children, for 100 fevers, for 1,000 small fears. She knew exactly which meal he meant. "The fifth meal," he said, "is the one we make together for our children." He looked up at her. "Mom, I want to stand in a kitchen, somewhere in the future, with the small hands of my children climbing onto a chair to see what we are doing. I want flour on the counter. I want a wooden spoon in someone else's hand. I want my wife laughing because the sauce has been spilled, again, by a 4-year-old who is more proud than sorry. That is the meal, Mom. The chaos, the mess, the slow Saturday afternoon that I would not trade for any boardroom in the world. I have missed too many of those afternoons already. I want to be in that kitchen for the ones that are still coming." May's eyes filled just slightly. She did not let the tears fall. She had learned after so many years how to hold them back until the right moment. "The sixth meal," he said, "is the meal we eat in silence." He paused. "You know I am a quiet man, Mom. There are days when I do not have words. And I want a wife who can sit beside me at a kitchen table for 20 minutes, eating quietly, without thinking anything is wrong. The forks on the plates, the water in the glasses, the small sound of bread tearing, the silence that is full, not empty. The kind of silence that two people earn after years of trusting each other. That meal does not happen in the first year of a marriage. It happens in the 10th, in the 20th, in the 30th. And I want to live long enough to eat it. He took a slow breath. The 7th meal, he said, is a Tuesday. May tilted her hand. A Tuesday, Mom. A small, ordinary Tuesday. Nothing wrong, nothing special. The same dinner we have had 100 times. The same plates, the same chairs. The same small lamp over the same small table. Nothing about the meal will be remembered. Nothing about it will be photographed. And that, Mom, is exactly what makes it sacred. Because the Tuesday meals are the ones that build a life. People remember weddings, people remember anniversaries, but a life is not made of weddings. A life is made of Tuesdays. I have spent my whole life trying to make every day matter, and I have come to believe that what I really want is a kitchen where most days do not have to matter. They just have to happen. With her. The 8th meal, he said. He stopped. He looked at the small floral curtains above the sink. The 8th one is harder, Mom. She waited. The 8th meal is the one we eat at midnight, in a dark kitchen, with one small lamp on, because neither of us could sleep. Because something heavy is happening. Because a child is sick down the hallway. Or because a parent has just died. Or because 30 years have piled up, and tonight, for some reason, we both feel them at the same time. The midnight meal is the one we did not plan. Toast, tea, a piece of cheese. 2 old hands reaching across a small kitchen table. The clock on the wall ticking. And the understanding that we have made it through one more night. That meal, Mom, is the one that says, I have not gone anywhere. I am still here. I will still be here in the morning. May's eyes filled again. This time, one tear fell. She did not wipe it away. And the 9th meal, Elon? She said softly. He could not answer right away. He looked at his hands. He looked at the small wall clock. He looked at the steam rising from the pot his mother had been stirring. And finally he spoke. The 9th meal, he said, is the last one we will share, and we will not know it is the last. The kitchen was very still. Mom, we do not get to choose the last meal. A wife does not know it. A husband does not know it. The morning that turns out to be the morning. The dinner that turns out to be the dinner. They are not marked. They look ordinary. And the cruel and beautiful thing about a long marriage is you live inside that uncertainty for 50 years. Every Tuesday could be the last Tuesday. Every soup could be the last soup. And the only honest answer is to sit down at every one of them as if it might be. To look up from the coffee. To put down the phone. To say her name just once before she clears the plate. To remember she is there. He looked up at his mother. I want a wife I would sit down with as if every meal could be the last. Because the day will come, Mom. The day will come. And I do not want to look back across 40 years and wish I had looked at her one more time over a plate of nothing in particular. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Maye reached across the small round table and took both of his hands. She held them the way she had held them when he was a small boy in Pretoria, with the lights of the kitchen turned low, with the radio on softly, with the smell of bread in the air. "Elon," she said, "you have just told me how to live with a person." He looked at her. "Have I?" "Yes, my son. You have just told me what most people figure out far too late, and some of them never figure it out at all. So when you find her, Elon, when she finally walks into a kitchen like this one and sits down across from you, do not forget what you said tonight. Do not forget the meals." He nodded slowly. He had built rockets that could touch the sky. He had built a name the whole planet recognized. But the hardest thing he would ever build, he understood now, was a long, quiet kitchen with one good chair across from his. A man does not measure a life by the launches. He measures it by the meals, by the small ones, by the slow ones, by the ones that do not seem important until they have stopped happening. That was the evening. Subscribe for more, my love.